Did you know that 40% of infertility cases actually have to do with the male factor? They don't really have anything to do with a woman's body, how it's functioning, how it's not functioning, if it's deficient, or if anything's wrong, or if there's a hormonal imbalance. 40% are male factors. That's a lot of cases. And it can go on for a lot of years, a lot of time before this is actually found out. Most couples, as you know, they try for months and months, maybe 6 months, they're starting to panic. Definitely about a year, there's a doctor's appointment talking about what could be possibly happening. And maybe up to a year and a half or two, now it's the average of 2 years. That's when doctors say, let's run some more tests, or this is when we recommend going to a fertility specialist. And maybe after 2 years, that's when couples finally figure out it's actually the male factor. Maybe your partner has low sperm count, low quality, low mobility. Maybe it's a combination of both. Maybe doctors have no clue what could be causing it. Well, they definitely don't have a clue what could be causing it, but this becomes apparent on average after 2 years of you trying. And that's really, really frustrating, because in those 2 years, emotionally, women take on a lot of that fear, that frustration, that unknowingness of thinking, what's wrong with my body? What more can I do? Can I eat better? Can I sleep more? Do I cut down on my work, or do I exercise more? And so these are the rackets that women go through because we end up taking it on, right? Now, in this video, I'm going to help you really identify from a holistic source what we see are causes, and that are actually proven and studied by the American Fertility Association. So there is a cross between holistic and conventional medicine in the research that has shown what is possibly causing men to have higher rates of very low quality sperm, poor motility, and just conditions like erectile dysfunction and so on. So we're going to get into that in this video. And if you or anybody you know is going through this, go ahead and let them see this video so they can understand that there are other solutions than the proposed conventional ones that really won't get people very far. So I'm Susana Puelles. I'm a physician of functional and Asian medicine and an herbalist, and I help women like you boost your fertility, sex drive, so that you can become a healthy, sexy mama at any age without giving up carbs or chocolate. Now, when there is a male factor, there's a lot of issues that are brought up, right? Like I said before, for a while, if you're trying and you don't really know that there is something going on your end or on your partner's end, there's a lot of emotional turmoil. What's going on with my body? What's wrong? Why isn't this happening? I'm broken. This is frustrating. It might not become apparent that it's actually your partner that really can't deliver. And there are a lot of reasons for this. A lot of the research is showing that poor sperm count and poor motility could be caused by this accumulation of toxins. Toxins, especially heavy metals such as copper and mercury. And we are exposed to heavy metals every single day. Every single day. We really can't escape it, but you can always decrease your body's load, your toxin load every single day. And so the first part is just becoming aware that you're exposed to this stuff. And even in minute little chunks, we're exposed every single day. So when it comes to sperm count and low quality sperm and motility issues, zinc, copper, and mercury are one of the ones that the research is showing that accumulates in the body, and it's usually heavy metals accumulate more in fat tissue. And so with men, what copper does, and with women with A quality, what copper does, if there's too much copper in the body, it really blocks the absorption of zinc. And if you've done a lot of research, which I know you probably have with your supplements, you've probably read a lot that zinc is critical to having great quality sperm, great quality eggs. It's critical for ovulation and critical for good building DNA and mitochondria so that there are no birth defects. And so when there's a lot of copper in the system, it can block the absorption of zinc. So that's why you read that zinc is so great for you. And if we have so much toxic overload or buildup that's become a problem in your fertility and in your hormone balance, then this can really be one of the underlying causes. Fortunately, there's a lot you can do by natural means, and it's probably the only way you can start to address this, because there is no conventional method for eliminating these minute doses or minute amounts of heavy metals, because conventional medicine deals with extremes. They deal with emergencies. And so we're talking about using natural means to start to decrease your heavy metal burden. Okay, so toxins, copper, mercury, and those are just exposures that we have to deal with every single day. But remember, it does block the absorption of zinc, and that zinc is critical. The second factor that men really accumulate over time that can really impact sperm quality and motility is a buildup of xenoestrogens that cause inflammation in the body. Now, men have estrogen just like women. Obviously, they have really low doses of estrogen because they are testosterone dominant. They're men. And what happens with men over time is poor diet choices. And this is very easy because they usually don't make healthier choices, as much healthier choices as women do, right? So xenoestrogens can definitely come from the environment. And with men, they have more muscle mass, and these xenoestrogens, they like muscle and they like fat. They really target those tissues. So over time, there's this unconscious awareness of healthy eating and just environmental exposures to plastics, pesticides, pills in the drinking water, like birth control pills in the drinking water. Over time, it accumulates in a man's body, in everybody's body. But if the man is susceptible and it's affecting his sperm, this is another root cause that we can start addressing, because xenoestrogens will accumulate so much so that there's going to start to be a imbalance in the testosterone, and then we get into the buildup of these toxins and the inflammation and these hormonal imbalances that are not producing quality sperm. Okay, so that is a big one that goes really hand in hand with a toxic overload. And so if you've already really understood what I'm talking about, I'm really talking about environmental factors. Now the third factor that really takes a lot of work and even years, and this factor really kind of affects a lot of deep confidence issues and root issues internally for a man. Some men, a very small percentage of men, but it happens when we rule out all of these environmental factors, and we've gone through the process of trying to balance out what we find could be lifestyle or environmental factors affecting sperm and quality and motility and just sperm issues. we have to look at birth defects. There are some birth defects that affect the quality of the man's sperm and the performance factor. There is a birth defect that actually leaves men impotent and has erectile dysfunction problems. So this is really kind of like the last effort, and we really have to refer out to a sex doctor. There's a conventional sex doctor, especially in California, that really deals with these. And eventually, if this is found out to be one of the problems, especially if you're having intimacy issues or factors with erectile dysfunction, and these are year-long, and it's really, you've already worked on psychological and subconscious and emotional factors, then we have to look at this physical, genetic, or very real medical defect, or birth defect as it's named, and tap into that. And for that, some men have gotten penile implants, and their sex lives have turned around, and people have been very fertile after that. So those are the three factors that I tap into when there's a couple and eventually the infertility is coming from male factor. If you've gone to your doctor, the fertility specialist, and they've eventually tested you, you seem fine, you've gone through IUIs, and then the men in your life, or your partners, have gone through testing, and it turns out that their sperm is low, their quality is low, there's motility issues, and that's probably why you haven't gotten pregnant, especially after inseminations. Then these are the factors that we would look into. Now, unfortunately, fertility specialists will take it upon themselves to say, let's just put him on some medication. Let's put him on some Clomid. Let's put him on some fertility drugs. And what I have seen is that the underlying root factors, the inflammation and the stagnation, gets a lot worse. You don't get pregnant. The men end up depressed. They gain a lot of weight. And then there's further intimacy issues. There's further confidence issues. There's further emotional issues. And that men are really repressed in this area, and they don't express it. And it'll be really, really frustrating, right? It's really, really frustrating to get at this point, because you want to do everything in your power to help. But there's a factor where sometimes your other half really can't be that catalyst. And so all of these factors lead to intimacy issues, and then eventually it affects your fertility and the outcome of baby. And so going on medication has not been the solution from the couples that I've helped. What does help is that there is a conscious effort on both parts, because women do this all the time. We want to get healthy. We do the things to get healthy. There's a preconception process that benefits everybody. It doesn't benefit just the woman. It benefits you and your husband and your family eventually. And when I talk about a preconception process, it's a 90-day to 120-day, 3 to 4 month window. And at this point in our modern day, everybody should be going through a preconception process before you even start trying. And that is because we are bombarded by so much stress that is a chemical factor in your fertility. It's not just stress, oh, I'm having a bad day, oh, I'm dramatic. No, stress is a chemical reaction that really messes with your fertility hormones. So we deal with stress, we deal with these xenoestrogens, we deal with all these toxins, and the longer you've been alive, so the older you are in maternal age, You've been exposed longer. It's not because you're old or your ovaries are whack or or expired or anything like that. It's because you and your partner have been exposed longer. So these exposures just sit in the body and just create imbalances that can really only be addressed naturally. Because when you or your partner go on medications like Clomid, you have to understand that there is already a level of stagnation. There's already a level of imbalance and toxicity and inflammation in the body. And that's why you guys are having trouble getting pregnant. Your body, your health your fertility is a reflection of your health. So if there's something going on, there's an imbalance, and it's probably a long-standing, long-term years in the making. So putting Clomid in the body and, expecting the sperm count to go up when your partner has toxins, inflammation, xenoestrogens, pesticides, it creates more problems because the liver, which is already stagnant and not doing a great job of detoxifying the body and the system, the liver now gets bombarded by synthetic medication that the liver really can't process appropriately, 100%. And so then we have this snowball effect of toxicity. And you can see that in, signs of depression, frustration, and if you gain weight, that is just a very telling sign of the liver just is really oversaturated and not doing what it should have been doing all these years. But all of these symptoms like low sperm count, low motility, erectile dysfunction, intimacy issues, depression, those are signs and symptoms of imbalance. And no amount of medication can really touch that without addressing that in lifestyle and in a preconception process. Now, the importance of a preconception process and why it's awesome is because in 90 to 120 days, you can make lifestyle and health changes that'll really start to clean up and filter out your liver. It can really start to increase sperm quality just by using natural solutions like healthy foods to clean out the liver and optimize the liver, some herbs and supplements to really help optimize the gut, help optimize the liver function so that the body can start to drain out the excess plastics that have been sitting in the liver, in the fat tissue that have been making imbalances in estrogen and testosterone. This is completely possible with just herbs and lifestyle changes. And why in 90 to 120 days? Because the last 90 days are a complete reflection of your environment, your exposures, what you're eating, how you're feeling, what you're sleeping, where you're working, all of that. 90 days really reflects what you've been exposed to. So in 90 days, you can really make a lot of headway in really optimizing sperm quality just with nutrition, herbs, and supplements alone. Now, if you are interested in any of that type of help, which can really make a huge difference for you, and especially if you and your partner have already been put on fertility medications like Clomid, and nothing's moving forward, nothing has progressed. If you really want a really balanced, healthy start so you can have a healthy pregnancy and happy baby, you can always go ahead and book your free breakthrough session with me so we can start to uncover what you've tried, what you've been through, and how you can really apply natural solutions that have really been proven to start leaching out those heavy metals, leaching out those plastics, start to leach out that xenoestrogen, balance out the estrogen and testosterone, and really, help your partner become vital again and really just, stroke that ego of theirs so that you can have healthy babies and you can do it together without